Queen. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a rubber duck themed cake. And if you would like, you can also watch my other video which is related, which I'm going to be showing you guys how to decorate rubber duck cupcakes. And today is my very first video and I am super excited, so let's start. This is going to be a double batch of chocolate cake batter. So here's what you'll need. 1.5 cups cocoa powder, 3.5 cups flour, 4 cups sugar, 2 teaspoons salt, 4 teaspoons of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Once you have all your ingredients measured out and ready, you're going to want to add them all into a nice big bowl because later we are also going to be adding in the wet ingredients. Once all of your ingredients are in a nice big bowl, you're going to get a whisk and just want to mix up and then get all ready for your wet ingredients. Here's what you'll need for your wet ingredients. 4 eggs, 2 cups half and half, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 cup vegetable oil. Once you have all your wet ingredients measured out and ready, you're going to combine them all into one bowl and mix it all up. And then you're going to pour your wet ingredients bowl into your dry ingredients. And also, before you start mixing, you can preheat your oven to 350 degrees because now would be a good time. Once all your ingredients are fully mixed together, you're going to want to add 2 cups of coffee, which you'd think it tastes like a mocha cake, but it actually enhances the chocolate flavor and makes it more light and fluffy. This is also going to make your batter really thick. Once your batter is all ready and is set to go in the oven, you are going to want to get an 8-inch pan is what I have. And for extra protection to make sure it really doesn't stick, I spray it or you can grease it with butter. And then I cut a piece of parchment paper and just line the bottom with it. And then when it comes out of the oven, you just peel it off the cake and it doesn't. Once your pan is filled, make sure it's a little less than halfway because you don't want it overflowing. And this recipe really puffs up. So you're going to want to bake it at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes. While your cakes are cooling, you can start working on your buttercream frosting that we are going to be decorating with. Here's what you'll need. 8 cups of powdered sugar, 1 big empty bowl, 4 sticks of butter, blue food coloring, and a hand or stand mixer. First, you're going to want to add in your powdered sugar and you're going to want to soften up your butter and add that in and just mix that all up. And you're also going to want to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This is just going to take a few minutes just to get it into the right consistency of buttercream. And once it is, you're going to want to add just a few drops of blue food dye until you get the desired. Once your frosting is completely mixed, we're going to start covering our cakes with it. But you want to make sure that your cakes are completely cooled because even if they're slightly warm, the frosting is going to start melting because it's butter. So just make sure they're completely cool and all ready to go. Now you're going to want to get an offset spatula to crumb coat your cakes. And the first thing you're going to want to do is just take a tiny bit of your frosting and just put it right in the center so that your cake will stick to the turntable so it's not moving around anywhere. Once you have put your dollop on, you're just going to want to put your first cake on. And on the top of it, you're just going to want to spread a pretty thin layer, but not too thin, of frosting just to hold the 2 cakes together. Once you have a nice layer of it on top of your first layer, you're going to want to add your second layer on top. And you can also have the bottom be facing up so that it's a really flat top surface, which really helps with your cake. Once your 2 cakes are stacked on top of each other, you are just going to want to crumb coat it, which means you're just going to put frosting and cover it. And if crumbs get caught in it, it's okay because then we do another thin coat over it to cover all the crumbs because the crumb coat captures. Once you have your crumb coat, it doesn't have to look perfect at all. It should have crumbs in it and just be messy. And once that's done, you're just going to want to put it in the fridge so it can chill a little bit so that when we add the second layer on top of it, you can't see the crumbs. While that's chilling and you have time, you can start with some little fondant decorations. At the bottom, we're going to have some little balls if you want to start making those. But I'm going to show you guys how to make a little ribbon that's going to say happy birthday. So I just have a little clump of white fondant. And the first thing you're going to want to do is roll it out, but make sure it's longer and not wide. Once you have your strip, you're going to want to cut it to make it a perfect strip. So I just rolled it out. So I have this fondant tool knife, which you can just use a normal knife. And I'm just going to make it like a perfect line all the way across as long as Once your ribbon is straight and exactly how you want it, you're going to want to cut a V out of each of the sides, because if you see the ribbon, it kind of folds in, it has the little V's at the end. So you just want to do that from corner to corner and just have a V. Once you have your strip just how you like it, make sure you have the edges cut like a V, just like this. You're going to want to fold it in a little bit, because when you see the ribbon, it looks kind of folded. So you're going to want to hold the edge of the V down and kind of overlap the fondant a little bit, but not too much. And you're going to want to do that on both sides. Just like that. And then you can write happy birthday or whatever you would like on it and set that aside until your cake is completely finished, just to top it off. Once your cake has chilled in the fridge for a little bit, this was your crumb coat, so you're going to add on one more layer of the blue frosting, and this is going to be your final layer, so you want to get it as smooth as possible and just how you want it to look for the final product. Once your cake is completely frosted and it's how you would like it, I would throw it back in the fridge just for like 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes, just quick to make sure it's really hardened so it doesn't start like melting off when you're piping the dots. And I would get a cake plate ready if you have one for when it comes. Once your cake is done and cooled, I have it on a turntable, but also on the cake plate on top of it. I like to use the turntable because it just helps with the decorations. So I'm actually going to set this aside and I'm going to work on little white fondant balls that we're going to put around the border of the cake. So you can set this aside. And I have just this clump of white fondant that I'm just going to shape into a bunch of small little balls to put around the edge. Once you have all your fondant balls around the cake, you are going to want to make one batch of frosting and leave it white to pipe on some cute little bubbles. Put your cake to the side and get all your ingredients for just a normal batch. So 2 sticks of softened butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 4 cups of powdered sugar. And you're just going to combine them all and leave it white this time because there's going to be white bubbles. Once you have your frosting all mixed and ready, I would actually put it in the fridge just to chill for a few minutes to make sure it's hard enough that it won't fall off the cake. And then put it in a piping bag with the number 3 tip is what I have. You can do bigger or smaller depending on how big you want your dots, but I'm just going to do a little dot just like that. And I'm just going to do like a little clump of them, and then I'll do them other places around the cake. But I'm not really going to do it on top until I have my duck and my little ribbon on to make sure I don't cover any of the places those need. So this is kind of like a clump I would do, about medium-sized little balls. And I'm just going to do a couple of them all around the cake, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I have finished my bubbles around the sides. And I just want to put the duck and the little ribbon. So I put my final 2 decorations on. I have my ribbon just in the front, and I have my duck slightly tilted. You can move it around if you want to the front, or like all the way sideways you can have. However you want your duck, you can put it. But before I finish, on the top around the duck, I'm just going to add little bubbles because I want it to have enough of them so it looks like the little rubber duck is swimming in a bubble bath. Here is my final rubber duck themed cake, birthday cake. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below of what you want me to make next. See you next time. If you would like, you could also go watch my rubber duck cupcake video. So it's pretty much a miniature version of this.